All right, so today I'm going to be working on the ALH TDI. Last night I've been kind of getting this car dialed in on a fresh engine. It's got a different turbo, bigger injectors, a whole plethora of mods, but it's been running really well. I got it running for the first time last week, and since then, yesterday I was driving it and decided to do my first wide open pull in the car. And it was a 2-3 pull, and at the top of third, when I let out, I kicked the car into neutral and it kept accelerating, or it was actually just banging off the limiter in neutral like it was trying to run away. I don't know for sure yet what caused it, but I'm trying to get into it. I do know that I was able to get the car put into 5th gear, choked it down, released the clutch, choked the car down. It shut off within a reasonable amount of time. It didn't stay on the limiter long. I sat for a while, killed it, and then I was able to restart the car. It ran fine. I was just down the road from home. It drove over here, parked right where it's at, take the intercooler piping off, clean everything up, put it back together. And it was really late, but I just wanted to hear the car to make sure that everything was okay. Went to try to turn it over and nothing. I'm gonna try to turn it over again just because I've left the battery disconnected overnight, and I'm just, hoping that, maybe something funky happened and it'll just bust right off and act like no issues. But doubtful. I'm not sure why, but it just would turn over like it had normal compression. It didn't seem like anything was too bad, but still we could have bent a connecting rod or something that would have pushed it further away from the valve, and so that would be less compression and the engine would still turn over super easy. So that doesn't rule out necessarily that it's not hurt, but it does mean that we're not coming into contact with anything, at least. I pulled all the intercooler piping off, looked into seeing if there was any oil in the intercooler or anything like that, and there was a little bit. Stuff that I'm basically boiling down to being, rings not seated and stuff on the fresh engine in the first 50 or so miles that it was driven. My oil level has stayed really consistent, so I don't think that was the problem, but it could have been enough oil in the intercooler that it was able to run on that oil alone. So what I'm gonna do is I went to Harbor Freight and I got this. This is their Master Diesel Compression Test Kit. I've seen people on forums use these to do compression tests on this car. We're going to have to pull glow plugs out. We're gonna access it through glow plugs and see if we've hurt something in the first, I don't know, I guess overall I've probably put 300 miles, 400 miles on this build, and so it's gonna suck really bad if these compression numbers turn up bad, but we'll take it with a grain of salt and deal with it as it comes. So I don't know, we're gonna start doing a compression test, and then we're gonna look into it and see. Good morning.
Good morning.
So here we are inside the car. I'm gonna show you either what it does when it's acting up or it's gonna start, but either way. So yeah, no start, but very consistent cranking. Yeah, we'll have to do the compression test and see what's going on. Okay, so we're about ready to do the test here. I have a charger hooked up to the battery just to keep it maintained throughout this process. I did shove some paper towels kind of down in those gaps. Not sure if they're gonna stay there or not, but I just hate it when it, throws a mess everywhere when you try to do stuff like this. And I have the compression tester from Harbor Freight hooked up. There was an adapter that fit perfectly down in the hole. I just kind of laid it right there. You also have to make sure that you disconnect the harness that goes to the injection pump. You can see it down there, kind of flop to the side. Otherwise, it'd probably be a big mess if you left that connected and tried to do this test. But I'm just gonna start going down the line here and just cranking it over and seeing what kind of numbers we get.
Okay.
So just cruising the forums, I'm gonna go ahead and put just a little bit of oil down the glow plug hole of number 4 and see if that closes the gap on the compression differences that I was having there. If it does, it would point out rings, and then we'll go from there. So I let the battery sit and charge for a while. It's actually completely charged, and I put a little bit of oil down in the number 4 glow plug hole. I'm gonna hook up the compression tester again one last time, crank it over real quick and see if we get anything different before I start digging into everything else. All right, so oil in the glow plug hole, trying it again. Let's go see what we got. Right about the same. Didn't change anything. So it's way later in the day and we've learned a lot. So I had a buddy come out right about the end of where I'd filmed last. We decided to put it up on top dead center and just check and see if it was in time. And when the crankshaft was up on top dead center, we were looking at it through the viewing window down on the bell housing of the transmission. When it was at top dead center, the cam was off just a scoshy bit, just a tiny bit, maybe a degree or two. But the injection pump was off a lot, like it had slipped out somehow over the course of it banging off the limiter when it did. So we brought everything back up to time and the car started. It starts fine. We've pretty much boiled everything down to this being a fault of, well, first of all, the fact that the motor's brand new and, you know, rings aren't seated or anything like that. So it's not making a ton of crankcase pressure, but this aftermarket valve cover does not have a baffle under the PCV valve. So it's just straight to the hole of the PCV valve. Oil's getting in through here and oil's getting through here, and it is it ran off that oil. That's why the car ran away. It's getting a significant amount of oil through this PCV valve with it just being straight open. And the fact that, you know, the motor's brand new probably doesn't help so much. So I plugged that off, went for a drive, and it blew the dipstick out. So I went ahead and lightly plugged that just with some paper towel and drove it home. And I still got just, I mean, you can see, I mean, everything's just oil caked right now and I'm gonna have to clean it up. But I have a catch can and I don't know if it's gonna work or not, but I have a catch can here. I'm going to try to outfit it somewhere, you know, maybe like up in here. There, that bracket swivels, so I don't know how I'm going to set it up yet, or if I'm even going to use this catch can, but it's a catch can that we had, and of course it would be nice to just be able to throw it on. And this catch can would just vent everything to atmosphere. It would be one hose in from the PCV system right here. We would need to figure a way to come from here to here. Everything would vent to atmosphere, and then hopefully over the course of, you know, a few thousand miles, everything will start sealing up and acting a little happier. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm sorry, I totally lost track of filming. And once we brought it up to top dead center and found a smoking gun, we just started dialing in timing and trying to see if we could figure it out. So that's where we are. I'm gonna work on getting the catch can mounted up, and we'll kind of swing back around and talk about it more when we get there. But for now, I'm done. I'm tired of this thing. I can't believe I was so nervous when it wouldn't start earlier, and you know, it's showing signs of life and it seems healthy. As you guys saw, compression test was pretty decent, so it seems like we're doing okay, but still got to iron out some mess. But we'll tune back in.